Welcome to the Pocatello Business Podcast, the only Pocatello podcast focused on providing profits for Pocatello people. If you love our town and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Pocatello Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around great guy, and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Pocatello Business Podcast. We are here with Helen Misner, longtime realtor. She started in Virginia, and then she made her way over to Pocatello, working for RE/MAX now for the better part of over, 24 years of being an agent?
I moved here in 99, so yeah, 20 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Helen, tell us a little bit about you, your hobbies, your family.
Oh, me,
Good
hobbies,
stuff.
family. I like riding my Harley, so it's kind of fun there. And then we invested in a motorhome, so I told my husband he has no choice, but if he wants to go camping with me, he can hop in and go, and we take off and go, because he's as much as a workaholic as I am. I've picked up the knack of gardening lately because I make jalapeno jelly and give it to all my clients when they close on their properties, and then they come knocking at my door asking for more. You know, the other love that I have is I have 8 grandchildren. That's my big love. So if there's something that I see that looks fun, I ask more about it to try to get involved and learn a little bit more about it. And then whatever I learn, I share. For example, I had a client who just had a lot of anxiety and just nervous about with all this coronavirus stuff coming on, and so I had her come over and I showed her how to make one of my candy wreaths. And so she went home and she made quite a few and gave them to her neighbors because she was leaving.
Oh, that's nice.
It's fun.
Yeah, I have to say I love that. I do love that the pepper jelly stuff. That is good. You put it over the cream cheese.
Oh yeah, I
with
call it
crackers.
crack.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's good stuff.
Oh, it's extremely addicting. Yeah.
Yep. You make it hot.
No,
I
I can make it hot. So I learned how to make it hot, and I learned how to make it not hot. So I can make it either way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, good. So you're an outdoorsy. You're taking advantage of the beautiful landscape of Idaho and Pocatello and Southeast Idaho. Riding Harleys, camping. No wonder you're a real estate agent. You get to enjoy that and at time make your own schedule and find yourself available to do that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So tell us how you started off and how did you get started in the real estate business? How did you decide, doggone it, this is the job for me?
So I'm a jack of all trades, and I won't tell you all of my trades because if people knew what I did, they would be calling me asking for more information. So we lived in Iceland. My husband was military, and we moved to Virginia Beach. So I happened to find this house that was a possibility of being for sale. My neighbors had a real estate agent. I called her. We put the transaction together. And the next thing I knew, that agent called me and says, "Would you like a job?" And I went, "No, I've got babies at home. I couldn't afford daycare." So as soon as that child turned old enough for daycare, I called her and I says, "Are you serious about this job?" She goes, "Yeah, we can start now." I went, "No." So as soon as I just started into real estate because she's seen something in me that most people didn't. And I was fine as an assistant for a long time. But then there was an agent who kept saying, "You can't say this on the phone." But I was very good about what I could and could not say on the phone. She just got irritated because I was saying all the right stuff, but the good way. But it was really bothering her. So I got mad one day and decided to become a real estate agent. And that's where it took off. I became a real estate agent, and I looked at her. Her name was Claudette Fields. She was a great lady. I looked at her and I says, "I have to thank you for pissing me off and making me an agent because I'm having a blast now." And I did real estate on the East Coast for a few years. And then my husband called me and says, "Guess what?" Well, he didn't call me. He sent me an email from the ship that he was on and said, "Oh, by the way, I put my papers in, retiring, and we're moving home." And I was really shocked. I was like, "What?" So here we came home, and I started real estate over again here. So I was with National Realty. It was a really small place in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I did all the areas there that was open because there's Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, a lot of areas there. And then we moved from that to Rosenwamble, and I was with the team. She was a great lady and had so much fun. She would get her business out of the bars. She says if they have enough money to buy beer and drinks, they have enough money for down payment. I don't know how she did it, but she got her business out of the bars. I didn't. That was not
Business
my
plan.
niche. And then we came home. We came home because he said it was really important for family, and it was important that the kids got to know who the grandparents were. So, and I've been here ever since. And I told my husband, we're here. We're not moving because he's a small town guy. He's not going to go anywhere. I'll stay with him.
That's great. It's funny you mentioned that because everyone about a turning point of saying, hey, something's got to change here, because everyone mostly that I've talked with has had that point in their life. They're like, okay, this isn't working. Yeah, I'm sick of working for peanuts, or I'm tired of being treated this way. Something's got to change, and it's interesting to hear everyone's perspective of what changed them to get them moving in a different direction. So.
Well, I always tell my clients, because there's people who are like, we have to sell and we are, relocating or something's going on. And I looked at them and says, this is a new chapter, a new adventure in your life. So embrace it and see what's coming around the corner.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So when you come into Pocatello, your majority of your transactions are all residential. Is that correct?
Residential, investments, multifamily. That's what I prefer. Yeah.
And you
I
work a
can do
lot.
the other, but yeah.
Yeah. And you work a lot with the veterans. I know.
I do. I have a very soft heart for my veterans. I'm a member of the POW MIA. I haven't been active for a while, but I plan on becoming active again. I'm a big, big heart for that.
Good. So you veterans out there listening, sounds like Helen knows what you're going through. She knows what the difficulties that you have with the loan processes, and she can walk you through all that and help you with these transactions. And if I said anything wrong, the real estate agencies or commission can't go after me because it was me saying it.
A good way to go. Do that, Spencer. No. On the vets, there's a lot of different things that can go with them. So I try to line them up with a lender that's going to meet their needs and make sure the house is going to meet their needs as well. And that, I just have a soft spot for my vets. I know what they've gone through and I know what they've done.
Yeah. Especially just this week was Memorial Day, and everyone's hearts turns to really remember what they did and people that are currently serving, and they definitely deserve all the respect and all the help that they can get. So
yeah.
Well, good. So if now that you're 20 plus years into this profession, what would you wish you've known when you started out that you know now? I think I asked that right.
Yeah, you did. That's kind of hard to answer because I've always been taught when you fall down, you need to get up and do it again. Fall down, need to get up, do it again. If I had a crystal ball, then it would have completely been, a whole lot different. I don't know. I think all the hard knocks that I learned and did, I had to learn to do for my clients, my people. So I really can't say, is there something I would change or do, because who knows what that split would have taken.
Sure.
So I've always been taught, be happy where you're at and, pick what crossroads you're going to do, stick with it and move on with it, and do the very best you can for your fellow man.
I agree. Well, let's switch gears just a little here now. Being with the coronavirus still in effect, and we're still kind of in the second phase of the reopening process here in Idaho at this point of the podcast. How is it affecting the market, do you see right now?
So I've seen it slow down for a little bit. I think the biggest thing is the people in the multifamily, the tenants are more scared than anything. And I think they use this as advantage as far as not wanting to let anybody in and showing. I think their elderly who are the sellers are concerned because they're in that bracket of, am I going to get it or not going to get it? And they're just holding off if they want to sell or not going to sell. the younger generation is not. They're like, I need to find a house. I need to move on with life. This is the way it needs to be done. I'm still in the same situation as I was before, that we don't have enough houses on the market. It did slow me down because the people that I've been helping at this particular time were affected because they were waitresses, they were restaurant workers, they were affected by this. So they're kind of like, let me hang on for a little bit until I know which way it goes. I totally get that. I'm not going to force them to buy a house when you can't do this. I just totally understand that. But they'll be there and be ready to go back and do it when it comes again. So it did slow it down a little bit. Everybody says the market is really strong. We have a housing shortage still in Pocatello. So it's still a seller's market. We need houses to sell. There's a lender out there that's probably got anywhere from 10 to 30 buyers. They're just sitting to wait to find a house. And I have got buyers that I check for every day to see if that certain house has come out for them because they're being a little bit picky. So we're just waiting and seeing. It's not killed our market. It definitely has not killed our market, but it's not a fantastic market. It's still a seller's market. It's still strong. I don't know if that really answered your question.
It does. It does. Now, did the quantity of homes, did the listings go down when the lockdown took effect? Did you know?
I really didn't see a big change of listings going down. I seen a frenzy at first where all the buyers were like, I've got to hurry and get this house before something happens. But I didn't see anything as far as the listings go down. I see maybe one or two where they took it off until this coronavirus, stops. But I didn't see a panic attack. And I think that has to do with a lot of the real estate agents in Pocatello educating their sellers, educating their buyers, talking to them, keeping them safe, letting them know what we can do to help them out there. I think because being as real estate, we're the heart of the community. We're the heart of the nation for real estate. If we don't sell houses, we're not going to have a nation. And I think with the professionals keeping everybody calm and letting everybody know what's going on, we're good.
Sure.
So I really take it that the fact that all of us as professionals are out there are explaining everything to our buyers and sellers and not doing the panic. I think that's a big deal.
That's what everyone needs to do is not panic. I think that's the best lesson I ever learned in when I was being certified as a scuba diver is no matter what you do under the water, you'll be fine as long as you just don't panic. Just think it through. Don't panic. So
yep, same with motorcycle riding.
That's right. That's right. It's good for scuba diving. It's good for real estate. It's good for everything in life. Just don't panic.
Exactly.
Well, with the seller's market, how it is, do you see an uptick in people trying to sell their own homes? And if so, what do you see as the common mistake that they're doing, besides not using an agent?
So I've still seen the same amount of for sale by owners. And we did a study on it back in, was it late February or March? And there's still the same amount for sale by owners. It's not increased. So you're always going to have those who say that I can do it all. The bad thing about it is that a lot of the for sale by owners think that they know it all. But the hard part about it is they don't realize what legality goes on for them, what we do to protect the sellers and protect the buyers. We make sure that all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. We make sure that the home inspection is done. We make sure that you have disclosure. We make sure the loan's going through. There's a lot of behind the scenes things that happen that I make it look really nice, but you don't know what goes down behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I think I just recently had one guy who said he wanted to do forced by owner, and he said, okay, they're going to close on X when their credit's a little better. The contract wasn't good enough that they walked and found something else and left these guys hanging with a $300 and some odd $1,000 home. And that was sad because I could have helped them sell it beforehand. But, people have got to do their thing, but I will be there when they're ready for me.
Yep. Sometimes people have to learn the hard way, and that's been my life, I guess. I have to kind of get punched in the head a few times before I can learn something, right? So,
you know what? I think that is with all of us. We have to learn things before we can actually understand it. And if we don't fall down, how are we going to understand what we've learned?
Yeah.
So,
totally agree on that one. So, in falling in line with that previous question, what is one of the common myths about your industry?
Collins Miss, somebody thinks we're like a used car salesman, which kills me. We're not. We're nothing to do with that. My job is to put buyer and seller together.
Sure.
My job is to make sure that I do the very best negotiations that I can possibly do for my buyer or my seller. Every one of my sellers know how I'm going to do, what I'm going to do, what's going on with it, what's expected out there, and what people are going to look for. My buyers, I let them know if it's going to be realistic out there. Period. They all know where I'm coming from. And I work hard for them. I do. I work really hard for them. And people say I come across strong, and I do, because I fight hard for my buyers and I fight hard for my sellers. I'm a strong negotiator, and you want to find a real estate agent that's going to work hard for you. You want to find a listing agent that's going to work for you, not one who's just going to stick a sign in the yard and put it on the MLS. And you can have agents that's going to tell you that's going to be on all these websites. Well, yeah, you didn't do it. They're free IDXs that they pull out and put out there, and they all attack them, so I'm going to go the extra mile for you and let you know what buyers are looking for, what we're doing. And then on my buyers, I'm going to be out there looking every single day. I've got a gal that I've been calling her constantly, and she's like, I know I saw it before you, so, and then when we get into contract, I work hard for those guys and let them know what's going on. They know what process, the buyers and sellers know what process goes from the beginning to the end. So there's no surprises in it. They know every step that's happening, so they're not just all of a sudden blindsided on what's going on.
Interesting. That's good. Do you see the sales process speeding up at all during this time? Like the transaction speed, is it taking less time now because people are just, is it the same?
No, with the coronavirus, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have kind of got slammed a little bit, because when the coronavirus came out, it said that there is a forbearance for the buyers for the owners of a home. Okay. With the forbearance, that means that you can be forgiven and not make these payments. I strongly suggest you don't do that. If you get something like that, oh my gosh, please call me first, because it's not really always a forgiveness. It's something that says, okay, you can be forgiven for 3 months, and at the end it's gives you 3 months, or at the end it's going to be tacked on the end. There's always a trick.
Yeah.
So call me. But because of all that, and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are really concerned about it, they have tightened up their guidelines. They've tightened up the credit scores for people. They've tightened up so much can happen. So the credit unions have got their hands tied, and some of the other banks have got their hands tied. So it's been making it harder for some of the buyers to get financing and have had to wait. So it's slowing down a little bit for things in process, more frustrating for them to get qualified. Now, you don't get in my car unless you're qualified.
Yeah.
Period. There's no reason to show you a property that I don't know what you're qualified for, and then devastate you. Yeah, and devastate you. If I'm showing you $200,000 and you go back to the lender and it'll qualify for $150,000, you're going to be mad at me and devastated that I've shown you $200,000 piece of property. Or vice versa, you're out there and looking at $200,000. You find out for the price that you want to pay monthly, $250,000. You're going to go, what could I got for $250,000? So no, let's do it right. Find out what you're comfortable with, and go looking for houses that are out there, and not lose the house that you want.
There you go. There you go. That's the key there. Just stick with it and stay with it. So, with the it's a seller's market. It still is a good buyer's market, because the rates are still pretty dang low.
Rates have been awesome. I just closed a loan that was 2.75, which was like, I've never seen that.
Wow.
Awesome. And I was just at awe when I seen it. I was like, what did you do, dude? Because there's no reason for buy downs anymore. And what that means, they used to have to buy an extra point in order to get it down. Interest rates are absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
So
insane.
Buyers need to buy. And if our buyers keep buying and our economy keeps going this way, our interest rates are going to stay this way. And that's been a real blessing, because I started real estate when it was 9, 10, 11%. And that we thought was good. Yeah.
Wow.
That tells you how old I am.
Yeah. We well, not that, but I'm just saying that we take for granted now the rates. That's crazy.
Yeah. So my son just bought a home, and he it just hit when this coronavirus happened, and the rates had gone up on him, and he was doing a VA loan. And so he was kind of in a panic for it. Well, he had enough money to put down to switch it to a conventional loan. And then he played the market a little bit with his lender, and they were able to close on a 3.25. But he was in a panic because it was for something. And for a large house that he was buying, that was a big jump for him in a monthly payment. So he is my nervous Nelly, and he was calling me like every day. It was the way first. But, my kids are my toughest clients anyhow. He's calling me every day and saying, what do I do? And I says, just wait it out. Like I said, it could be months. So we finally got a good broker that helped him out, followed it all the way through, and got it done.
There you go.
That's one of the things that real estate agents do for you. People don't realize that, but that's one of the things that we do for you. We help you with this lender process. We help you with the lender. If you're having issues with the lender, we talk to the lender talks to you. We don't get in your personal business. That's the last thing I want. Yeah. But we're going to help you through this process because there's terminologies you just don't understand.
Exactly. And you don't want to have to understand. You don't want to have to become a professional in real estate. You want to be able to do the job that you're paid to do. And let professionals do their job.
Yeah, I eat, breathe, and live this stuff, so I know it inside and out. Let me just make your transaction go a lot smoother and explain it to you in layman's terms.
Perfect. Well, good. Well, I appreciate you being on the show, but we, as we close, we always like to ask, I guess I got maybe 2 more questions for you. Number one, what's some of your secret sauce in what you're doing, and if anyone's looking to maybe not even becoming a real estate agent, but just getting into business here in this community, what would be your main advice?
Getting into business, what would be my main advice? Get into some organizations that you like, that you're comfortable with, people that you know, so you can share what you have that your commonality is with other people. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. I mean, I come across rough at first, but once you get to know me, then you understand me and know who I am. My secret sauce is passion for my buyers and passion for my sellers. I will always fight for them, and I care about them, and I'm not good at names and faces, but I will never forget the address that you bought or sold. That's just my thing,
I love that. I love that. Be yourself, because so many people, I think, go to work and tighten up the tie. And this is me as a professional at work. But when I'm home and for my family, I'm going to be this relaxed person, and I'm going to let loose a little bit. And I think people appreciate originality. Like they want people to be themselves. They don't want to see a stiff out there.
Well, as you can see, what you see is what you get, because I always tell them, I know, and I'm a professional. I know what I do, and I'm a professional, but what you see is what you get. I'm a Levi and t-shirt gal. And, with this coronavirus, I have not been wearing makeup. I don't care anymore. Isn't that horrible? My buyers and sellers are more important. Makeup's not.
Hey, that's perfect.
How's that?
That's perfect. Okay, well, last question. Where is your favorite local restaurant to eat at and enjoy?
Favorite local restaurant? Because I haven't eaten out for so long, it's really hard to do it. Right now, I would say Buddy's.
Okay.
I love their salad. I could just sit there and gorge myself with their salad forever.
And then you can only be with the person that you ate that salad with for about.
Well, I've been married to him for 40 years, so he hasn't got a choice.
It's awesome. It's a great salad, though. I love it. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Helen, thank you for being on our show. We want to give you a shout out. So where can people find you and get a hold of you if they want to contact you to represent them and get going?
I'll be glad to give anybody a market analysis. It's no cost to them. I come out and do it for them. You can reach me or call me or text me at 208-604-3004. Again, 208-604-3004. If not, call REMAX. It's in the phone book, and just ask for Helen. I'm the only one there.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Helen. I appreciate you having on the show. We hope to have you on here in a few more months as well. And thank you for tuning in, everyone, again, for the Pocatello Business Podcast. See you next time.
Thanks, Spencer. Take care.
Bye.
Congratulations on spending a couple minutes getting just a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Pocatello business community. If you are feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.